Next we have Prof. Angela van der Berg, and I'm going to just stop sharing. And she's going to present online. Angela is a environmental law lecturer, and she started in UWC in 2021. And her title is Embracing Online Learning Platforms, Challenges and Opportunities. Okay, Angela, over to you.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for that kind introduction, Norina. I hope you can see my screen. Can you?
Yes, you can.
All right. Let me just swap the presenter view. All right. So I've really enjoyed hearing everyone's presentations today. It's made me feel very old and not as creative. But I'm going to be speaking today about online learning platforms or online learning management systems, and I've chosen to speak about eCanva. I think some of what I'm going to say ties in or is very similar to the previous speaker. So bear with me if I am repeating, I'm sorry about that. So I just want to chat about, I guess, briefly the rise of online or e-learning platforms, how I use it and what my experience has been, looking at what eCanva is, the benefits of using eCanva, the challenges of using eCanva, and then just speaking about, one instance from my course where I've had, a few instances. I'll be referring to what I've done in my courses. And yeah, but I hope I'm not going to be boring. I'm sure everyone uses eCanva already, and I'm sure some of you use it in much more interesting ways than we do at the law faculty. Okay, so I think what's been clear from all of the sessions today is that there is an increase in the use of online learning management platforms, particularly brought on through COVID-19, or that crisis meant that we had to turn to remote learning pedagogies. And of course, these systems like eCanva have helped us streamline and enhance the process. It's also, if I read a bit at the higher education, environment, it seems that online learning is probably going to become the norm or a feature in a large part of teaching in higher education institutions in South Africa. So my experience with online learning management systems, I have worked at the Northwest University, and they have eFundi, which is similar to eCanva, but it does have a few differences. I've also worked at Leiden University in the Netherlands. I was an assistant professor there, also in the law faculty, and I worked with Blackboard. So yeah, and now I'm at UWC using eCanva. I use eCanva in my capacity as a lecturer and course developer, but also as a module coordinator. So I oversee quite a few modules on eCanva, and I sort of manage, the other lecturers that are teaching in my modules. I do have experience with Pillar 7 because I teach in short courses, although I must admit, the last time I used Pillar 7 was a year ago this time for my short course, and I haven't used it since. I'm going to be using it again now in October for when my short course starts again. So maybe then I can be reflective on how Pillar 7 is different from eCanva. What I will say is I think I enjoyed Pillar 7 more than I do enjoy eCanva, mostly because I found that Pillar 7 was a bit easier for me to use, and I enjoyed some of the features of Pillar 7. But I also want to emphasize that I am at the law faculty, so I don't think we are too creative with how we use these systems. I think we can learn from the Faculty of Dentistry in using social media a bit more, or learn from the other faculties who use simulations. And then just another sort of disclaimer is that I have small groups of students. So at master's level, I have around 12 students per eCanva site. And for my undergraduate, which is an elective module in environmental law, only about 80 students. But okay, so the previous speaker has already highlighted what eCanva is. So it's UWC's online learning management system. It's based on the Sakai management system, if I'm not mistaken, which is an open source platform, actually used by many universities worldwide. And eCanva allows students and faculty to access course materials, submit assignments, participate in discussions, and engage in various sort of ways of learning online. And I think it really supports UWC's academic programs and enhances learning. If I think about my master's students, my master's is fully online. None of the students are in the Western Cape. So I'm constantly trying to find ways to make eCanva and the way I teach my students interesting and stimulating and engaging. So I think the benefits of eCanva are is the fact that students can access their work, the course content, material, assessments from anywhere, anytime in the world. I really like that I can too. I was in Boston earlier in the year and there was a 9-hour time zone and I could still make sure that assessments were uploaded in time and I could teach and upload my recordings to Canva. So I think that's a big benefit. I think it enhances communication and collaboration. I particularly enjoy the discussion forum. Although I have to admit, and this ties into a point I'll list later on, is about digital literacy. I'm still struggling a bit with the discussion forum feature of Canva, and I think it can be improved if I compare it to the Blackboard discussion feature, for instance. My students also quite, I don't know, are not sure about the discussion forum. I have to coach them a lot into helping them see where to find it, for instance. But nevertheless, I think it is a good tool. Another benefit is, of course, streamlined course management. So not only is all the learnings and course resources online, but so are all the assessments, and that means my feedback to the students too. I enjoy that if I do use multiple quiz assessments, the system will grade it, so that relieves pressure from me. And I can upload my detailed feedback to the students too with the folder option on eCanva. So I quite like that. I've already alluded to resource management and how it assists with that. And then, of course, we've spoken quite a bit today about blended learning, and I think it really does facilitate blended learning. And I think actually Canva is used best when you do in-person teaching and you use it for online or remote teaching. So I find that with my undergrad students in the LLB program, I teach them in person every week. And then I give them synchronous and asynchronous activities to do on Canva, and I find that is a better approach. But like I said, with my master students, it is fully online. So
sorry, Angela.
Yes.
I'm not moving your slides, so I'm not sure it's on your side.
Oh,
yeah,
they've moved.
Okay.
On my screen.
Okay. There we go. Now we see it.
Let me try share my screen again. That's a pity. I'm already on slide 9. All right, can you see it?
Right, just waiting for it. Yes, now we can.
And can you see the slides now?
Yes. Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
I'll also email my slides if anyone is interested. So I think general challenges, not only with eCanva, this is true for Blackboard or Efundi or any type of online learning management system, is that we need to think about the varying levels of digital literacy. You know, we have a lot of students living in rural areas, not necessarily with access to internet or slower internet I think speeds, and that's something we need to take into account if you give assessments in terms of the time you allocate for the assessment. And then, some students just are not really trained in using platforms like these, and not only students, staff too. I've had to contact Norina more than I should for help with eCanva and Pillar 7. And then, just engagement and interaction. I don't think it should replace face-to-face interaction. In my case with the LLM, it just is unfortunately that way, that all of my students are remote and are not in Cape Town. But I think that it should complement face-to-face interaction. I think sometimes students can struggle with motivation and self-discipline if everything is only online and there's maybe, less oversight. And I think if we think about content accessibility, it does increase access, but we need to consider students with disabilities and how we can accommodate them. That's not something I've had to deal with yet, but I'm sure it's something that can happen. So in my course, I've recently had an issue of master students cheating. Two instances. So one where they were given an exam, and of course, even if you use proctoring material, which I haven't, but you can't really monitor when students are collaborating with others over WhatsApp or using sources they shouldn't use, like textbooks or whatever. But I've had particular issues with plagiarism. So two of my LLM students in their final exam in June, it was an essay question. I give them an essay question because it really is to test their critical thinking, their research and writing skills at master's level, and to set them up to write their dissertation. And the one student, 80% of their answer was generated by AI. The other student had a combination of, I think, around 60% AI and 40% plagiarism. And this was such an interesting experience because, firstly, I didn't know that Turnitin now has an AI detection feature. And I was happy to see that, but the report is difficult to understand and to navigate, actually. And it even has, a little asterisk saying that, the report cannot fully be relied on, and that it's also difficult for the Turnitin software to assess whether AI was used or not. I worked quite closely with Norina and the other people in her team with this, and we then used copy leaks to supplement the report. But that actually led to more confusion because in some instances, the copy leaks reports were contradictory to the Turnitin reports. So it's led to a gray area now where we are certain the student did use AI, but it's difficult to prove because we have conflicting reports. We gave the students a second opportunity. They rewrote the exam. They did exactly the same thing again. So we've now had to refer this issue to the proctor's office and it's under investigation. But yeah, so I think it's great that we have these tools, but even the tools that are flagging AI are contradictory in their reports, and I find that the actual reports are difficult to understand. So I think maybe we need more training on this, or at least I need more training on this. And then I think we also need, to train students on how to use AI ethically. But I am aware that that's something the university is working on. Then another challenge that I've experienced at master's level in particular, we're assessing at a higher level. And it's quite challenging to design online assessments that can higher level learning objectives. Multiple choice exams or multiple choice questions, I feel, can only go so far. And I'm not sure what else to suggest. I think it's also challenging, particularly it's like to assess practical skills. So we often have moot court competitions. We've tried doing that online, and in October we're going to try again, but it really has challenges. You miss non-verbal cues from students. They don't learn about courtroom dynamics. So it has challenges to simulate real-world legal proceedings, for instance. And then something else I often think about is group projects. My master's students often get group projects, but it's difficult to assess really individual contributions in an online environment. I've now tried to ask students to, at the end of group work, include a statement of contribution where they explain to me in detail which student did which part of the assessment, and I hope they're on it when they give that. Then yeah, I think the key takeaway overall, I think, we're doing a great job with Berg, and I want to commend the developers and, UWC's IT team for helping us understand the program and use it properly. That it has relatively easy to use. Maybe it would be a good thing to have one-on-one sessions from different faculties to see what the needs are in terms of improving user experience and accessibility. I haven't really used it a lot on my phone, but my assistant does, and she says the user experience on the phone, for instance, isn't as nice as on the computer. And students really use their phone, so maybe that's wrong. Something else I was thinking about, there's analytics and reporting, but I, for instance, don't know how to properly interpret that data. I'm not sure if other faculties have the same. So maybe we can provide training on that, or I would provide training in that. And then I was thinking, collaboration group prizes online beyond a discussion forum. I'm not sure if we can integrate Ecambo with the speech assist, to integrate other platforms or online tools to enhance collaboration. I think that goes hand in hand with third-party integrations. I'm not sure, for instance, if Ecambo can be integrated with Google Drive or with Zoom, which would be very helpful for me in how I use Ecambo. And then maybe we could integrate it with UW's library information. I'm not sure if that's possible, but a lot of my students do literature reviews. I'm sure yours do too. It would be great if there was a link to the library course, or some other way tailored to the subject. The subject on Ecambo.
Sorry, yes. The time.
Yes, I am finished. So my last one is that it would be great if there was a little bit more customization and flexibility to Ecambo, but I think it should be tailored to the needs, depending which faculty and which course they're in. Yeah, overall, I think I have really enjoyed using Ecambo, and I'm eager to learn more. And thanks for listening to me today.
Thank you so much, Angela.